Talk a little bit about why all of a sudden, I would say all of a sudden, but it now has become a bigger priority than a lot of things, only because of, I'll say, success.
Well, I think part of my position description is to like create and implement an economic development strategy for the community. And really, several years ago, I think we kind of came to this realization, like, housing is economic development, and we were hearing it as soon as I started in 2019. I was getting a lot of feedback from like landlords that I had worked with in Muskegon Heights and renters and people I knew in the community, employers, that, hey, there's a lot of upward pressure, especially in the rental market. And so we started investigating that a little bit. And I think to this day, I feel fortunate that people gave me that feedback because I think we got ahead of the problem by a year or so related to some other communities. I mean, in the whole country. And because now it's all everybody talks about. When I go to any sort of training or conference, it's housing focused. If you look at where the state budget that they're working on right now has a huge housing focus. But, you know, what we discovered pretty quickly is there's a demand because of the regionalization of the economy. So it's housing here is two-thirds of the price of Kent County and Ottawa County. More and more people are being priced out of those markets, and they're finding it is worthwhile to live here, commute there, or live here and work remotely. And then we're seeing some growth in our communities, which is great. So the challenge that comes with that is, you know, we as the city of Muskegon, we have a higher cohort of like working class people, working wage people. That's always historically been the case. And they're the first people to struggle when, you know, interest rate environments go up or when rent goes up. And so that's been our focus from an economic development standpoint for the last several years is basically if we can achieve stable housing. And I always kind of like beat it into everybody's head, like, housing at every price point in every area. That's what we want. So if you are a high income earner, but you have a lot of family, you know, in the center of the city or on the east side of the city and you want to live there, there should be housing that you want. If you're a low wage, moderate wage household and you want to live on the west side of the city, we want to create an environment where that is the case. And so that's what we're working towards.
Which I think is, it sounds novel, but in the same sense, I mean, it just seems like that's the way it should be, right?